All right, so we're on to day number 5 of our 30 days of Q&A, and today's gonna be a fun one. It's probably the number one question that I hear from every artist that we work with, close to 100,000 musicians now on our email list, and probably the number one biggest question that I hear is, okay, I've invested so much time and energy into my craft and my music, and I'm just trying to figure out how to actually cut through the noise, and how do I reach people who genuinely resonate with my songs, and people who aren't just the same friends and family, but people who actually genuinely care. So now we're up to 1,510 responses. And right now I'm directly responding to Renee, Jorge, Don, Ronnie, but I know this is a question that almost everyone has, which is how do I connect with more people who will love my music, especially when I have a busy schedule? Because all of us, we have a limited amount of time. A lot of us have day jobs. We have other things we're spending our time with. And this question of how do I actually turn new listeners into fans who actually support me? How do I actually find where those people hang out? How do I connect with them and build a relationship in a way that's authentic and real, and it's not just based on fake bots or followers? And how do I do this efficiently? How do I actually get it heard in a way that's efficient, that doesn't take 10 hours a day that I don't have? So today I'm going to share the number one strategy that we use for the majority of our clients when we launch a campaign is something we call a virtual tour hacking campaign. And there's a whole backstory, go like a lot deeper into how we came up with the name virtual tour hacking. But for the sake of keeping this video short, concise, and practical, I'm just going to open up the ads manager and show you step by step how you launch one of these campaigns for yourself. And I think that this is probably the number one way for a new artist that doesn't have an established fan base to go from scratch to start actually waking up every day with messages from new fans who are actually listening to the songs, enjoying it, and doing it in a way that's automated. So it actually has a system, so it leverages your time, it frees you up, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. So let's dive in. First of all, you're going to want to create an ads manager account using Instagram and Facebook. So you can just Google how to create a Facebook business manager account, and you'll be able to create an account. And then you'll want to navigate to the ads manager screen where you'll see something that looks like this. And you'll click on the create campaign button. And here's going to ask you, what's your campaign objective? I'd recommend, as much as possible, always choosing sales as a campaign objective, because if you choose engagement, then basically you're telling Facebook or Instagram that you're looking to get as many people as possible for as cheap as possible, but they're not necessarily the people who are actually going to purchase things from you or the ones who are actually going to care and become true fans. And so what ends up happening sometimes is this is going to get you more likes or views, but it might not necessarily be the most profitable type of campaign as if you choose a sales campaign. And so let's name this one VTH Example Campaign. And for ad set, you're going to choose whatever the name of the artist that you want to target their fans to listen to your music. So even before you do this, I'd actually recommend going to like musicmap.com, making a list of some of your favorite bands of all time, the people who've influenced your music most. And then maybe you type in one of them here into Music Map. It's going to pop open a list of a bunch of other related artists that are similar to that band. So I'd make a big spreadsheet where you just list all of these artists and you sort them based on who you enjoy the most, who you're most aligned with. And then you can also click on different names here if you want to go deeper. So if you click on one of the names here, it's going to pop up this whole list of new artists that you can start a foundation for your targeting list. Right? So once you have that, you go choose your first one that you want to target. And I would recommend starting with 1 to 3 so you can test out different audiences and see which audience is resonating most with your music. So in this one, let's say that we're going to choose All Time Low. Or even better, I'm going to go with the Beatles. I'm a huge Beatles fan. And for the ad, let's just call it VTH Intro 1. All right, and then here, it's going to show the campaign details. There's some really cool stuff here, but for the sake of this demo, we're just going to skip this, which is for most people, I'd recommend just coming to the ad set level. And from here, you're going to choose a conversion objective. So we're going to choose Messenger. We've done a lot of testing. We've invested over $730,000 in the past year, testing out different traffic sources, different funnels, and seeing what's working best right now. And easily the best campaign that we find working is the Messenger campaigns, because those are based on conversations going back and forth, and we found them to be the most engaging for connecting with a new fan. And so from there, when you optimize for sales, this is where you can actually choose what you want to optimize for. So generally, what I would recommend is actually setting up a custom conversion. And this is a little bit out of the scope of this training video, but what you can actually do is you could say, if you have 5 different types of offers, let's say that you have a starter pack offer that's a $5 to $10, and you have a $20 t-shirt, and you have a $50 VIP bundle, then you can actually set this up so that when someone purchases one of those products, that it's measured here by Facebook. And so what you could do at that point is you could select that as a conversion. And what it's going to do now is their algorithm is going to look at who are the people who are most likely to make a purchase from you based on your existing data and based on all the data that they have on their users, which is a lot because Facebook, that's one of the things that's controversial, like just the amount of data. There's a lot of conversation happening around data collection right now. But I think that when it comes to how you can use it as an artist to be able to better serve your fans and be able to reach the right people who are most likely to resonate with your music, it's a huge blessing. This is where you can actually choose the conversion event. So you want to say that you want to reach the people who are most likely to make a purchase. Or if you're just starting out, I would actually recommend having a low ticket $5 to $10 offer that you can say when someone purchases that, then that's what we're going to optimize this for. And so from there, we're going to scroll down to the section that says daily budget. And so here, I would recommend starting with the minimum daily budget, which is $1 per day. And the reason I would recommend starting with the minimum is because this can allow you to test the campaign and make sure that it's working first before you start to scale it up. Before you're spending $100 a day or $1,000 a day, you want to make sure that when you put $1 in, you're getting $1 or more out. We have some clients who are literally spending thousands of dollars per day on their ads. And to be at that point, you want to make sure that you actually have the system set up and it's all working properly. So I would recommend starting with the $1 per day and then measuring your results based on that. And then you'll scroll down, and this is going to be where you can actually do the targeting options. So you can choose a location. So if you're based in the United States, you can choose United States. If you decide that you want to go on tour in Antarctica, because it's totally an untapped market, then you can also target Antarctica, or just wherever you'd like to actually play shows, or whether you think that you have fans who might like your music, you can target there. You can also choose age. So if you decide that you only want to reach people who are between the age of 55 and 65, you can choose that there. You can choose gender if you'd like. Facebook and Instagram do a pretty good job of auto-selecting the best candidates here. So a lot of times I'll even leave this on default. You don't necessarily have to choose the age. It'll choose the right people for you. But if you really want to be more specific, you can choose it there. But then really the magic sauce of this, and that's going to make the biggest impact, is your targeting audiences that you put here. So if we're going to target people who are fans of the Beatles, then we'll type in the Beatles here, and boom. So now we're targeting everyone who's a fan of the Beatles and who also lives in the United States and Antarctica. And so you can see there's an estimated size of 7.6 million to 8.9 million people that you can reach with that. And you can also, if you can use this as a way to brainstorm too, you click suggestions. It's going to show you all the other related bands as well that you could also select. But when you're getting started, I would recommend just choosing one at a time. So you can really test and see which artists, which has fans that are resonating with your music. And so from here, you're going to scroll down. It's going to give you options for placements. I would recommend using manual placements at first. It's going to recommend the automatic advantage placements. This might be worth considering after you have a lot more data going through, because this is basically them saying, our algorithm is going to guess for you based on what we understand about your fans. And the thing is, if you don't have data coming through here yet, then they don't really know who's going to get the best results. And so I recommend leaving it on manual first. Again, we've done a lot of testing, over $700,000, and the best results that we found are coming from two main placements, which are the Instagram and the Facebook newsfeed. So that means that you'll want to turn off all of these different placements. At least for this kind of campaign, I would recommend doing the newsfeed, Facebook and Instagram. Feel free to test it on your own if you'd like to test out different placements. But if you want to, I would recommend starting with this and then exploring the other placements. And so the last thing, I would actually choose one or the other. So Instagram, newsfeed, we tend to see the best results with that. Organic, paid traffic, generally Facebook is still the king. It's not good for organic traffic. Like I almost wouldn't even recommend posting on Facebook organically unless you have a paid traffic strategy going behind it. But when it comes to paid traffic, usually we find Facebook getting the best results. In some cases, Instagram does work better though. So you could try it out and test these between each other and see which one works best for you. But then from here, you're gonna click on next. And this is when we're going to get to the ad level. So this is where you actually put together what are you gonna show in fans' newsfeeds as they're scrolling through the newsfeed. And as an example, I'm just gonna record a quick video for you. What I would normally recommend is you wanna do this on your cell phone. You just do it on your cell phone, holding it vertically. That's an important part. Don't do it horizontally, hold it vertically, do a selfie style video. We've tested out a lot of different styles of videos and done high production, music in the background, like all this stuff. And easily the best performing one has actually just been a selfie video of you talking to the camera and introducing yourself and doing something like what I'm about to show you right now. Again, feel free to test this on your own, but this is what we found getting the best results by far. And so I'm just going to record an example of this and that we can use for this ad. Hey, what's going on? My name is Michael Walker, and I play keyboard in a band called Paradise Fears. And I think if you're a fan of the Beatles or All Time Low, you might like our music too. It's kind of like Alex Gaskarth and John Lennon got together at a party one night and ended up having a baby. And our music's kind of like a fusion of the two of them. And if you're a fan of the Beatles, I think you might like our new song that just came out. If you click on the send message button, then you can listen to it. We're going to send it directly to your inbox, and then we can have a conversation. I would love to hear what you think. So click on send message, and I'll talk to you soon. Yeah! The yeah cam is totally not required. But the vertical video on your cell phone, that's what we see getting the best results by far. And so then what you do is you come in here and you can say add media, and you basically upload the video that you just made. And so if I was going to, just for the sake of example, so we don't have to download it, I'm going to upload a different video. But then we can start working on the primary text. So usually the primary text will say something along the lines of, if you love the Beatles as much as I do, you might like our new song. Click on send message to listen. You could even do advanced things where you actually add like multiple different text options and it can test it for you, which is pretty cool. If we decided I actually want to, okay, so they're not going to let us tag this unless we do this. It looks a little bit crazy, but actually what shows up when you do this is it's going to tag the Beatles. But we could say here, click on send message to listen, but we're going to do the little dance guy. And so now it's going to send two different versions, and it's going to optimize it for which one's working best for you. And for the headline, we'll say something like, listen, click send message to listen now. And I would recommend making the call to action send message. There's a lot of different like call to action buttons you can do, but this is the one that we see in the best results. And then from here's where stuff starts getting really fun. The default option is that it just starts the conversation in their inbox. And then once they click on send message, it'll go straight to Messenger. So it's the same inbox that is across Facebook and Instagram. And you can actually have conversations back and forth organically with your fans in Messenger. It's really cool. And so after someone clicks on it, you can say, hey, here's the song. We'd love to hear what you think. And you share a link to the song. And from there, after they listen, you can either follow up with them if they didn't get back to you and just ask, hey, what do you think of the song? And when they respond and they say, hey, I loved it, this is really cool, you say, awesome, by the way, and then you ask some more questions about themselves. You say, so what other bands do you like listening to? And are you like, what's your favorite song by this artist? And basically, you'll want to continue having a conversation. And we have something called the Intune survey framework. And maybe if we have time, we can do a video that's all about Intune surveys, about having these conversations. But the idea is that you want to build a relationship with those fans by asking them good questions and getting to know them, right? And by doing that, you also can get really good research that's going to help you create better targeting for your ads based on the fans that are the most engaged. From here, basically, if you do the default option, then what's going to happen is it's just going to open up a message in your inbox. And then from there, you'll have to respond and send the link to your song. But if you click on this advanced option, this advanced setup option, then you can actually create this automated flow. What we found is that if you don't respond to someone immediately when they click on send message and send them the song, then you have a drop-off rate of nearly 30% versus if you have something set up to immediately send them the song. And so you really want to have something set up so that right when they click on it, right when they're there and they're present, you can give them the song that they just said they want to listen to. So this is where we built this into the StreetTeam platform, the StreetTeam software, is that you can actually automate these conversations with new fans. You can start out by just making it hybrid automated. So you have an initial message that gets sent out when they click on send message. So basically what happens when someone clicks on send message is that it triggers something called a JSON flow. And this is going to be some really geeky stuff. And honestly, you don't need to understand how this works. You don't need to learn how to develop and write code yourself because we've geeked out on it for you and we've learned how to do this and set this up in a way that you can leverage this. So basically, if you come in here and delete what they have here in default, and you go back to your StreetTeam account, we actually have a section called copy your JSON code. And what's going to happen is when you copy that code and go back to the ad, you can paste it in here, and it's going to have this by default for you. You can customize what it says a little bit. If you click on here, you can just change what it says. But what's going to happen now is when someone responds to this, it's automatically going to respond with a link to your, what we call your fan magnet. And it's really like your initial funnel that takes someone from a new listener and turns them into an actual subscriber. So I think we talked about this yesterday, how important it is to actually have your own platform that isn't owned by Mark Zuckerberg or someone else, that you can actually directly have access to reach out and broadcast to your fans. And so what this does is basically built it in by default. If you send people straight to Spotify, if you send them straight to a streaming link, then almost none of those people are going to subscribe to your email list, your text message list, because they go to Spotify and you have no access to those people after they go there. A very small percentage of them will stream and maybe follow you on Spotify, but then you have no way to stay in touch with them, no way to connect with them. If you're sending someone to Spotify, then what you're earning per click is going to be a fraction of a penny. So if you're looking at your earnings per click, it's a very small number. So that means that either your cost per click has to be insanely low, or you're going to be losing a bunch of money by sending people directly to Spotify. But if you instead send them to a platform that you own and you have a funnel set up, then your earnings per click can be significantly higher than sending them directly to Spotify. And you can make different offers that are actually $20 or $50 or even $1,000. And that's going to really increase your value per click versus running traffic directly to Spotify. So I'm geeking out here a little bit too much probably, but this is really important stuff to understand. Basically, the way that the StreetTeam software works is after someone clicks on the send message button, you can actually come in here and customize what you want to say to them automatically. So you can say, hey, thanks for reaching out. Here's a link to my new song. And you can actually automatically pull in your link for your fan funnel. And so what's going to happen in the fan magnet funnel is when they click on the link, it's going to ask them, where do you listen to music? And they can choose whether they listen on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. You could also add more buttons here if you want to send them to a different platform. And after they listen to it, then you can send them to a page. So for example, listen on Spotify, right? And you can embed the code for them to listen to the song on this funnel page. And after they listen to the song, you can send them a page that says, hey, did you like the song? And if they said, no, I didn't like it, then you know not to include those people in your lookalike audience because they aren't the right people who like the song. So you only want to include the people who say, yeah, I loved it. It was a good fit. So this is another way to get in tune with the right people. And then what's going to happen is you can send them to a page to give them a free gift. So this is connected to the new NFT marketplace, having these bronze collectibles that are a 15-second moment of one of your songs that you can offer in exchange for someone joining your email list. That's one thing that is, depending on when you're watching this right now, is probably either automatically integrated already because we've updated the templates, or it's something that's coming very soon. We're actually going to be integrating this directly with the NFT marketplace. So the point of this video, though, is that when you launch the campaign, you want to have this automated response. So immediately it sends them a link to your fan funnel. So the very first thing that they go to is to your funnel where they can choose which platform do they want to listen to your song on. And then if they like it, then it's going to send them that free gift. And there's some really cool things you can do. We used to do this on ManyChat, and we literally just transitioned to being able to set this up on the StreetTeam CRM. And I'm going to show you what it looks like on ManyChat just because ManyChat has a little bit better of a visual template, so it just looks nicer. But essentially in the templates that you get in StreetTeam, we can actually set this up for you automatically. So basically everything here that's in ManyChat is actually just done within StreetTeam, which is really cool. But just kind of give you a nice visual representation. What ManyChat allows you to do is basically have different conversation flows based on how people respond to the conversations in their inbox. And for example, you say, hey, here's the link to listen to my song, and then let me know what you think. And then after they respond, we have something called ArtistAI that we've built into StreetTeam that basically can interpret the messages that your fans say and have human-like responses so that we can actually build this in a way that feels a lot more streamlined for the fan. And so what you can do is when you interpret their message, so you say, hey, here's a song, let me know what you think. And if they respond, then ArtistAI is going to look at that and say, did they like it? Was it neutral? They didn't seem like they really cared? Or was it negative? Did they say they didn't like it? And if they liked it, then it'll say, hey, thanks so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And then it's going to send them to the next message in the flow. So that's a little bit of a deep dive into this automation, how if you're looking to save time, having this set up for you is going to save you.
Amazing.
Isn't that pretty cool, Oscar? So this is how you can scale. My recommendation at first is just do the hybrid automation. Do the hybrid automation where it responds immediately with your song and it sends them to your funnel so that they actually can opt in automatically without you doing anything. But then I would highly recommend that you use these conversations as an opportunity to connect with your fans. I think that's actually going to be something that you really enjoy at first, especially if you haven't connected with a whole lot of fans who aren't just friends and family, but it's like new people. There's something that's going to click in your brain that's going to realize, wow, like music is actually good enough and people actually care and this is cool. And so there's something really important about having those initial conversations. I recommend having like at least 10 to 20 of them. But then after you do that, now your time is really precious, right? And you want to be able to reach not just a few people per day, but you want to be able to reach thousands of people per day. And in order to do that, you really need to build this automation and have these messenger flows. And so that's when you might start looking at using the StreetTeam CRM to build out more advanced messaging flows that happen automatically for you. Okay, yeah, so we geeked out quite a bit there, but basically that's what's happening here is we've copied and pasted the code from StreetTeam to automatically send people to your fan funnel when they respond to it. And you could have a pretty sophisticated conversation with them after that automatically. And the way that you can have conversations with your fans through these messenger campaigns is actually built straight into the StreetTeam platform. So if you go to your conversations tab, then it's going to show all these messages that came in from your Facebook ads or your Instagram ads through the messenger campaign. And you can actually respond to people directly through here. And if you have their phone numbers, you can actually send out text messages back and forth as well. So you can have two-way communication with your fans directly within the inbox. And you can even do really cool things where if Paul McCartney from the Beatles is responding to you and says, hey, your song is so awesome. I'm such a huge fan of All Time Low. I've spent $100 million supporting All Time Low, then you might tag them and say, All Time Low fan. And you could tag them here. And you could even have an automated follow-up. So when you tag someone as All Time Low fan, then a day later it sends them an email and says, hey, because you're an All Time Low fan, you might like this song from us. We were inspired by All Time Low. And this song in particular, if you're a fan of All Time Low, you might like this one. Right, so you could do some pretty cool advanced automations with that. And you can also directly from this view access their contact profile where you can see lifetime value and you can add in different details to be able to understand more about your fans and connect more with them and stay in touch with them. It's pretty dang cool. So from here, the last thing to do is just to click on the green publish button. And what's going to happen is it's going to officially launch your campaign. If you haven't yet, then you're going to have to put in some initial details for like your artist name and your artist, like your business address and whatnot. But then what's going to happen after you publish it is it's going to be in review. And you're going to see there it says in review for about 2 to 3 hours. And as soon as Facebook and Instagram approve it, which basically means that they just need to determine that you're not a bot or you're not like a Russian hacker trying to influence elections. And as soon as they decide that, then they'll approve it, usually within the first few hours. And then within 24 hours, you're at a point where you actually are getting messages from new fans who are actually listening to the songs, who are enjoying it, and not just a faceless number on a screen, but an actual human being that you're having a two-way communication with. And it's really cool. It's a great way to be able to connect with your fans initially, and then to be able to automate it down the line. All right, so we covered a lot of ground there. Hopefully this is helpful.
It's amazing, amazing. I am familiar with this from the real estate industry. You use this kind of CRM that you can automate responses and things, but you guys have done something amazing. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead. So we'll definitely bring on Sheila, since I see Sheila, you have a question
Sheila,
as well. And,
then Sheila first.
So we can do Sheila first, but then I would love to answer your question, Oscar. So Sheila, I see you've got your hand up, so let's bring you on to ask a question. Hello.
Yeah, so there's a comment I wanted to make, and it leads into a question, but the comment is that 2 weeks ago when I came on board, Savannah, a brilliant coach from Modern Musician, she helped me set this up, exactly what you went through. So it was really easy, actually. I could have set it up myself, except for that geeky stuff that you were talking about, because I had no idea. And that's where Savannah kind of took over. The first morning I wake up, so I usually turn my cell off at night. I turn off all my devices. And when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I just do my meditative gratitude. And then I went straight for myself. When I went to straight Facebook, first day I had 5 people, and then oh my god, this is so cool. And then I did that every morning, and then I would get like 3, 4, 5 every morning, and I would answer them because there was one that said, hey, are you there? And then I would write back in the next moment, no, I'm not, but I'm here now. Here, go to my YouTube. So I would be able to dialogue. But then I messed up. I don't know what I did, and this is my question. So one day when I was doing this, I wasn't on my phone on my Messenger. I was on my computer on my Facebook, and I answered somebody back directly. And I got this pop-up saying, you're not allowed to do this on this platform, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. I thought that's really weird because I've been answering them, but it didn't connect the two that I was doing in Messenger. I was doing it on that platform instead of going in, because I'm still confused with the Meta and my own band page. So then on Father's Day, I posted my Father's Day video and I posted it on my band page. And then the following day, I got locked out. I got locked out of my Facebook saying what I did was unethical, and they're reviewing it. And then, but I got my band page back and everything's on there, but I lost it. So my question to you, I know I'll phone support and find out what's going on, but I just wanted to make a comment how this really did work. Like, I've been on YouTube for 10 years and I got 25,000 hits just in 10 years. And I had more just on that Facebook and engagement, and going through what you said at the beginning, where that filter, I don't know what it's called, where the band, where you say what band you're most like, kind of thing. And all that stuff, and all that stuff I could do by myself. But like I say, with Savannah and with somebody on your team, to, if anybody can't geek out on that stuff, like I can't, but I'm stuck because I don't know, like I did write to Facebook, like saying, go to this page and we'll tell you what the problem is. And then I read it and it say, did this page help? And I'm like, no effing no, but whatever. Like, I'm up against that social, being shut down. And I don't know how to deal with it.
Thank you for the question, and awesome. Congratulations on jumping into the program, and it's awesome to hear that you were able to get launched. And the first day, you already had those 5 people, and you were able to connect in that way. And so the question that you're sharing is actually a super common one, unfortunately. Like with a lot of different ad platforms like this, if you get shut down, then there's a few different solutions I'd recommend. First of all, since you're in the program, like, this is what we're here for, is to help you with this. So if you submit a support ticket to our team, then we'll help you out and we'll get you sorted ASAP. So that would be my first line of support, is we've got your back. If you just reach out and let us know, then either schedule something on the next Q&A call so that we can dig into it specifically for you and open up your account and get you set up, or we could have our team respond to you and give you priority support. Secondly, I think that, so to answer your support request directly, I think there's 2 different options. You could, and if I understand, are you still shut down? Like, you're not able to send messenger campaigns, or did they open it back up?
Yeah, I still have my band Facebook and my personal Facebook, but not, my Meta was shut down.
Okay.
Like, I can't do any ads. I can't do any ads. That's where.
Okay. Yeah. So likely, and just to make you feel better about this too, like, you're not alone. Like, this happened to us probably 2 or 3 times, where sometimes, because of the scale at which they're running these campaigns, and because of the amount of bad actors, honestly, they've been like you guys, I don't know if you remember Cambridge Analytica and that whole ordeal. Basically, they've had to really lock down quite a bit and be especially careful on trying to monitor which of these campaigns are potential bad actors. And because of that, they've had to automate some of that, and they're still dialing in the system. So it's every once in a while likely there was some sort of mismatch. Like, maybe we responded to people after 24 hours and there's a whole rule set around that. So maybe there was partially, there was just some miscommunication there. But the issue is that it can be difficult to get your account reinstated. If you have a good relationship with Facebook, then sometimes we can reach out on behalf of you and grease the wheels and get you back set up. But in a lot of cases, what I would actually recommend instead is, unless you have, considering the fact that you have access to your Facebook page and you have access to some of those things, you just don't have access to run the ads, then it's not that hard to actually create a new ad account. And that's probably what I would do, is I'd create a new ad account in Facebook, which basically means that you have the same the same thing. It's still connected to the same page. You have all the same stuff, but it lets you run the ads again. So that's the kind of thing that you could either Google and try to figure out, like, how do I create a new ad account? Or if you reach out to our team, we'll be happy to help you get that
I'm
set
going
up.
to call the support. Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
I'm on
You
it.
got it.
I'm on it.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Thank you for the question. That's a good one. All right. And then Oscar, I know you had a question as well.
This is like a one-on-one coaching. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Michael. You're the real guru. Guru.
Glad to help.
Hey, I have an amazing opportunity. I'm from Colombia. Colombia is living in Atlanta, has lived social unrest for so many years. And there was a peace treaty that was signed. And I composed a song for the peace treaty. The country has been very polarized, but finally this Sunday, for the first time in the history of Colombia, a leftist was chosen as president. And it's more of a centrist than a leftist. Somebody. It's a really interesting opportunity for Colombia. And he's calling to unify the country, to end the polarization. It's very similar as in the USA, only that we do it with guns. You know, and stone, so it's very hard. So I composed this song that is a song that says, it says, I want to travel my country in my bicycle. What I want to do is to meet people and talk with people, and it's a very Latin song, and I think it's an opportunity to have it listen.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that. Did you have a question, or do you still want to share this opportunity for you to get your song heard now?
It is amazing. What do you suggest I do?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for sharing that. And that's actually really interesting too. I wasn't aware of sort of the status of Colombia, and it's great that it sounds like there's a lot of movements towards coming together.
Yeah, I was listening to the new elected president. I was in tears this morning.
Wow.
Listening to him. He's really calling for unity, and he's calling his enemies, and he's saying what we need is to talk. And this is what this song says. Let's talk. I don't know if you can.
I love it. No, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, and congratulations on that movement. And yeah, I really hope that we can do something similar in the United States too. There's so much polarization. We're all a part of the same thing. We're all connected.
I want to jump into your program, but I need to ask you some questions.
So what I would recommend is if you're interested
I need to talk to you.
Unfortunately, this is our chance to talk right now, and this is actually very rare. If you're interested in the program, then just from our chance to be able to connect, it seems like you have a really awesome story to tell and a message. And if you think that it might be a good fit, then we do have a selection process. We have a limited amount of spots that we can take on.
I went through it and I was selected. But
That's amazing.
that moment, I couldn't make it, so I just relinquished.
So depending on when you applied and were selected, you might need to reapply and be selected again. But what I would start out with is I would reach out to the talent scout that approved you for the next stage and just let them know that you're reconsidering and that you had some more questions that you'd like to ask. And that would be the place to go deeper. And if it's the right time now, awesome. But otherwise, hopefully, we're able to connect more over the next 30 days, and you'll get a lot of value that way.
Yeah, that would be great, because you have the whole system so well thought up. I'm very impressed from what I've seen from you.
You're right. Everything that you said, Michael, and the whole team, but Michael especially, like, he's number one. It's number one. You can't go anyplace else with what your message, what you want to send out, because I too have strong messages. My music is all about unity and that how we're more divided than we are together. And my music is very autobiographical because I've worked in the criminal courts for over 20 years and family law. So I see death and destruction every day in the Western world. I am also an immigrant. I was a refugee. I was separated from my parents for 2 years. So all of this stuff is coming to my music. And when I used to put it out there, who's going to listen to it? But this platform allows me to have that voice. So I would recommend for you, Oscar, to really look into this. It's time to invest in yourself, because I am older and I have less time in front of me than all the time that I have behind me. And I have all that experience and everything that's in my music already. And my music is out there. And this is the only platform that you'll be able to get, even if it's one person in Colombia. I have one of my songs that I'm going to re-record in Hungarian, but it's up there on my YouTube, and I translated it in Hungarian so they can see the stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, I know Michael has to go. So I really would recommend, because I've done in the past, since May 30th, which was my birthday, was a conference that I was in. And I've done more since that time than I have in the 10 years that I've been on YouTube, and in the 3 years. It took me 7 years to put my CD together. 7 years. I released it in 2019. And it's just been sitting there. I've been, putting it on Facebook, YouTube, blah, 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 blah. And this was like, it just fell in my lap, Modern Musician. And I'm telling you, I've only been in the program for a couple of weeks now, and I'm already doing a showcase. And I'm telling you, Oscar, we have less time in front of us to get our message out than we've had in the past. And I just wish you could get it out there.
Wow. Sheila, thank you so much for sharing that. And honestly, like, hearing things like that makes what I feel, like what I do, worth it. So thank you for sharing that. I'm so excited for you. And we're just getting started too. So you're about 2 weeks in. We've already gotten you launched. You can see things that work. It's so cool. But for the next 3 months, we're here for you. No such thing as reaching out for support enough. If you have anything, any obstacles or anything like this, we're here for you. And yeah, let's go ahead. Let's wrap up for today. This was day 5 of 30 days of Q&A. This is probably our most kind of technical, geeky one. We actually walked through how to launch the campaign. So I hope it's been really helpful for you. And probably what we'll do in the show notes, since we talked quite a bit about it, is I'll share a link to our artists sharing their experience through the program. And if you think you might be a good fit for it, then you can submit an application for it and schedule a coaching call with someone on our team.